I'm riding solo for this adventure, and I'm excited for this chat because we're called Neat and Mixed, and we've been doing a lot of neat talk, but I think we'll be doing a lot of mixed drink talk on this next one as we welcome in. She's a food writer, restaurant critic, novelist. Her latest book, Beach Cocktails, is now available. See, lovely.
I have
Let's welcome in
mine.
Allyson Reedy. Allyson, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and like I said, we're going the cocktail route, the beach cocktails, and I'm curious. I mentioned you do some food writing, restaurant review stuff. I believe some of your past works have been cookbooks type things. How did all of that previous work shape this thing?
So, obviously, I really like food and drink. I've kind of made a career out of it. And I kind of, all my books, not my stories, I'd say like, the restaurant reviews and a lot of my stories are more like professional and assignments. But the books are a little more selfish. It's like, this is what I want to eat, or this is what I want to cook, this is what I want to drink. And I would say this is one in a series of cocktails, but beach drinks, cocktails like vacation in a glass, I mean, that's my jam. That's what I want to be drinking. And so when they approached me, the publisher, about doing this book, it was like, yes, that sounds amazing. I get to go find these amazing, fruity, delicious recipes and recreate them at home.
Well, and I was going to say, I mean, you have a lot of different recipes in this, and you worked with photographers and mixologists to kind of truly add a whole different layer to that. What was it like to collaborate with the bartenders that are featured in the books, the drinks, to bring this thing to life? Because, like I said, there's a lot of recipes in here, and that does take a little bit of work to put it all together.
Yeah, definitely. I think we ended up with over 75 recipes. And probably there are a few, like we have, I think, 3 from Death & Co. because it's Death & Co. and your drinks are amazing. I'll take whatever you want to share with us. So I think we probably have at least, I would say, 60 unique bars, restaurants, resorts that are sharing the recipes. And in terms of working with the mixologists, especially versus chefs, because normally I do food, I would say the mixologists are actually a little easier to work with. Sometimes, you get these recipes from chefs, and because they're used to working in this huge kitchen, it'll be like, oh, here, this will make lasagna for 75 people. And it's like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? Or like, we don't have the tools that you're asking us to use. So I would say working with a mixologist, like, they're used to making one drink at a time. The recipes were for one drink at a time. So it really translates a little more easily to the home bartender than I expected. I'd say once in a while I'd have to say, yeah, you have all this fancy equipment. You have these bottles, you have 100 bottles behind you, and the average person does not have that. So that might have been like the biggest challenge would be, okay, I don't want people to have to spend a lot of money to recreate these drinks. I want it to be accessible for people to make at home. So once in a while we'd try to come up with some sort of, some kind of compromise for some of these harder to source bottles. But for the most part, it was, yeah, it's a lot of organizing. It's a lot of going through and making sure we're not, having 10 different Mai Tais. Or we do have it like several different margaritas, but not, it's not all margaritas. But just trying to make sure we have a good variety. And yeah, the mixologists were great and really easy to work with.
I was going to say, I mean, for some of them, though, obviously like a chef or whoever, the creatives, that they are putting a lot of work into these. These are true recipes. I mean, was it ever hard when you asked, like, hey, can we share this out? Or were most like, absolutely, I want people to be able to experience this. I mean, what was that reaction like?
Yeah, surprisingly, people were so nice and so eager to share. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just like a really welcoming community. I've done some cookbooks in the past. I guess I won't go into like naming which names exactly, but it was a little more difficult. Some of those were like pulling teeth to try to get people to share their recipes, and this was not that experience at all.
I was going to say well, and that goes back to when I was in newspapers, we did like a fresh ingredients page, and we'd be like, well, feature your business. All we ask is you give us one recipe. It doesn't even have to be from your restaurant. It could be a random cookbook that you love. And someone would be like, no. And I'd be like, Okay, but I mean, I get it that some people are very protective, but it's cool that you had these mixologists willing to do that. And you mentioned, it features more than 75 recipes from bars, resorts. What was it like though to curate and select which drinks went into it? Did you get to try any? I mean, or did you get to try all of them? How did all that process work to get these recipes into the book?
So I made them, but I didn't get. I mean, it would be amazing to have like this huge budget where you get to fly around to these tropical locales and try all the very best daiquiris and painkillers that they're making. But no, alas, you will notice if you go through that there are quite a few from Colorado, even though this is a beach cocktails book. Well, there's from. I guess we have a tiki bar here called Adrift, which I love and is super fun. There's another one up in Longmont, which is just north of where I live. I'm in Colorado, if that wasn't evident from that. So I did pull from places that I knew and that I knew were good and that I've tasted myself. But the other ones, no, I would have to recreate them at home. Try to whip them up, and for the most part, they're all like fairly accessible. And like I always say, especially with the food too, if I can do it, most anyone can do it. I'm not a talented bartender or chef, so these are all, pretty dummy proof if I can do it.
I was gonna say I always get worried because some people will tell me that, and then I get in the kitchen and I'm like, yeah, I'm already lost. But I mean, for you though, I mean, did you try more than 75? Did the first 75 just hit? How did that kind of to work? Because it does take work, and like you said, you wanted them to truly be approachable yet fun and things like that.
Yeah, I'd say we have a mix. And so I kind of separated it out to ones that you can just, you get your lime juice, your rum, your pineapple, maybe some almond liqueur, and you're like, you're more than halfway there, right? You can make a lot of these recipes right there with those. And then there's a section where it's, can't remember what we called it, but it was like a make ahead section. So essentially, it's like my personal favorite ingredient that I discovered through this process, passion fruit syrup. And so that would be like that section is, yeah, you need to make a simple syrup, which, yeah, it does take a little bit of work. But once you have it, then you're set. So we do have kind of a mix of like, okay, you do have to make this simple syrup versus no, you can just, grab the ginger beer or whatnot out of your fridge and just pour and go. But did that answer your question? I think you also
Yeah,
asked about,
absolutely.
how I selected them.
You did because I think for a lot of folks, they say they want to do cocktails. They see it being done at the bar and it looks cool, and then they try to go home and, like you said, they might see a whole bunch of stuff and they're like, "Well, I don't have honey cucumber syrup." But if you're able to give them the tidbits, let them know, hey, this one's ahead. This one you can just grab everything out of the fridge right away. I feel like that breaks it down. And is that how you felt when you were starting to get into all of this and truly become maybe an amateur mixologist?
Yeah, because what I was trying to do was how do we sort this out so that, I don't want to just throw 75 recipes at you in no order and they're just there. Like I've seen those kinds of books and they're overwhelming, or I've seen some of these books that really go deep, like 5 pages for a margarita recipe. That really isn't who this book is intended for. If you are a hardcore cocktail geek like that, go buy Death and Co.'s book, themselves, right? I mean, we do have the Death and Co. and the Four Seasons and some really great tiki bars from around the country, but these are designed to be pretty accessible for a normal person.
Well, and you mentioned also that you did food, that there's kind of like a bonus chapter of snacks to pair with the cocktails. Why did you want to go that route and include the bites to go alongside with the drinks?
Maybe going back to me being selfish and wanting to create like the books that I would want, the recipes I would want. I'm a food person. Like I love drinks, but I'm definitely a food person. So I thought, okay, you need some snacks. You need to create this little happy hour. You need these fun shave ice to go along with your frozen tiki.
And what was it like to kind of go through that? Because, like you said, again, you want things that people can do, and if you can do it, you feel very confident others can do it. But what was it like to still get that creative side, even with the food, to have maybe something a little more elevated, but still at the end of the day easy to make?
I'd say for the food, also that's the only section where there's a few of my own recipes. The drinks are all from the bartenders, and you don't. I don't know that I'm at that level that you want my drink recipes, but yeah, some of the food is like that was a chance for me to like flex my skills and even things that I've made with my kids. Like I think we had a mango green tea popsicle recipe, and that's just something that my son loves mango and green tea. So that's something that we've made in the summer, and I was like, oh, that would fit in really well here. And so it was fun to kind of just, oh, what would I like to eat? And do I have the skill to make this, or do I need to go to a chef? Because we do have a lot of recipes. Not a lot, because I think there's about 10 or 12 food recipes. But I'd say, maybe 1/4 of those are from me and 3/4 are from chefs. And so that was a fun thing for me to get to do and use my own recipes there.
I love that. And hey, don't sell yourself short. I bet you can make a good cocktail recipe as well now after trying a few things out. And of that, like I said, there's more than like 75 or more recipes in there. What was your favorite cocktail to recreate or test from the book, and why?
So I marked a few pages. So can I show you a couple of my
Absolutely.
favorites? And you will see a theme here. So the first one is on page 55. And here it is. It's this atomic swizzle.
Ooh.
This is from Max's South Seas, which is a tiki bar. There it is. It's a tiki bar in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I have never been there. So a lot of these were just from doing research, like looking around for different, like what is the best tiki bar in different areas of the country. And so that's how I happened upon this one, Max's South Seas. And like I mentioned, anything with that passion fruit syrup, oh my gosh, I became just addicted to it. It's delicious and it works so well. I think my favorite flavor is like tart and tangy. A lot of people, when they think about beach cocktails, they think, oh, it's like syrupy sweet. And I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, at least not for me. I think what they do so well is they balance the sweet with the sour, or they add like the almond liqueur, so you have a whole other like layer of flavor. Amaro, I think this one has Amaro in it. Yeah, so it's rum, lemon juice, Amaro, the almond, the passion fruit, and then just a couple garnishes. So this one's actually, it's pretty simple to make. Once you have that passion fruit syrup, you just, pour the other 4 ingredients in and you have a delicious drink. And then my second one is the Curse.
Oh.
And this guy is page 78. And this is from another one of those tiki bars that I found. Yeah, there it is. This one's in Cleveland. It is Porco Lounge and Tiki Room in Cleveland, Ohio. And I think I'm so glad I found them. Like, who would have thought, like, Cleveland, Tiki.
Cleveland, Grand Rapids, all those. I mean,
Yeah, they had my favorite recipes. They were, they're probably all these Jimmy Buffett fans just, like, longing for the beach in the middle of this cold winter. I don't know what it was. But I love this one. This one's the Curse. Another super simple one. It's bourbon, the passion fruit syrup, lime juice, ginger beer. So it's 4 ingredients, just a really well balanced. You get the bite from the ginger beer, you get the tart. Yeah, another good one. And those aren't even rum drinks. So yeah, I'd say most of them are rum based, but we do have some other ones too.
well, and I love that. And you talked about like how you went about this. I mean, what was it like to discover places like the place, in Grand Rapids? I know when you think, if you know the areas enough, Michigan, Cleveland, they're near the lake, so they might like water and drinks like that. But still, I mean, when you're going all around Colorado, I mean,
Yeah.
that to me, I think more skiing, more great outdoors type
Definitely.
things than maybe the beach. So what was it like when you were going to maybe places that you didn't expect and then get a really great drink?
I mean, that's the best, right? When you can discover these like under the radar places. The same with my job. When I get to write about these little hole in the wall, the mom and pop restaurants that maybe you haven't heard of, that's just the best. So, yeah, it's like it's like your reward for for putting in this work when you find these like little places. I mean, everybody's heard of Death and Co. That I keep saying that because that's probably the most famous bar in America, and it was really cool that they did share recipes with us, and they're amazing too. But like Porco Tiki in Cleveland, Ohio, I think that's just as cool. And their drinks for me, because I love that passion fruit situation. Like that was just delicious.
Well, I love that you can find a good cocktail anywhere, and that people are getting really creative with this. And, you know, we've talked a lot about how there's a lot of deliciousness in here, easy to do recipes that me and you can do. Who should pick this book up, and why should they get into having some fun with some cocktails?
So I've got to say, like right now, don't we all need this book? Like we all could use this vacation in a glass like escape. So um, I'll also put in a plug here for the non-drinkers. I I haven't drank in almost 6 months. I'm not like a I go through these phases. Like I'll feel like drinking sometimes, and I won't, and so I kind of turn it on and off. I still can make the exact drinks I told you about with a fake rum or by just omitting it altogether and just using, some of the syrups and maybe adding a little more of like the soda water or whatever's going to remain like a little more flavorless to not make it super sweet or not super tart or sour. So, oh, and we have a mocktails chapter too. So there is, I don't even think you have to be a drinker to enjoy the book. It's just kind of that whole tropical vibe. It's a lot of fun.
And who knows, maybe next place you go on a road trip, you might find a tiki bar that you didn't expect and
I
have
know.
a
I need to
great
find
drink
one in
there.
like Wyoming or Nebraska. I'm sure they exist.
Well, that might be the beach cocktails too, but but this book is now available, folks. If you're looking for a little fun, I would call this a really easy read for the summer. Go get it, and Allison, thank you for sharing some cool recipes, a cool way that you went about this, and thanks for sharing some time with me.
Thank you so much.